Accra, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Midday Live from our News Hub studios here at Adisawe Kanta. My name is Noble Crosby, and the bulletin is also live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're live too on DSTV channel 279. Let's take a look at the headlines of the bulletin this afternoon. In the bulletin this afternoon, tension mounts in Jacobo in the Amansi Central District of the Ashanti region following the alleged killing of 2 people by the police last Thursday. Also coming up, over 600 students delisted from an ongoing examination at the Kumasi Technical University. We have updates. In business news later, energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleiman attributes challenges at Tema Oil Refinery to political interference. This follows the resignation of the MD Jerry Hensing over the weekend. We'll bring you some international news this afternoon as Niger's military junta says it will prosecute ousted President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason over his exchanges with foreign heads of states and international organizations. Welcome to the program. Let's start off this afternoon's bulletin with this from the Ashanti region, where over 600 students of the Kumasi Technical University in relation to an examination. Now, over 600 students have been delisted from an ongoing examination at the Kumasi Technical University. The students, according to the university authorities, failed to register despite extensions. The affected students have decided to protest against the decision by the university not to allow them into the examination halls. William Evans Inkum has been following the story. He's joining us for some more updates. Evans, good to have you on the program. You've been to the university. What news are you picking? Is it true that the school is denying delisting the students as a result of they not paying school fees?
Well, absolutely, because according to the academic board of the school, several notices, about 6 threads of notices which we have cited, were served on the students, but they failed to at least take advantage of all the about 3 deadlines that were given to them. In fact, the students also admitted that yes, they could not meet the deadline because of the fact that the current economic situation wouldn't allow some of the students to be able to pay their fees. One of the, or let me say, the spokesperson for the affected students, whom I engaged not too long ago, has been explaining further why they could not meet the deadline. And this is Adolf Selas Dentra, explanation to why they could not meet the deadline.
The issue is, we are not against the decision that the management has taken. We were here last week, Monday to Friday, to plead on our behalf. We went to the Dean of Students' office. We went on our knees to plead, telling them to forgive us so that they can give us access to register for our courses. Now, our major concern is we have students that have paid in full. We have students that have paid for the penalty. We still have students that have spent a lot of money on their practicals, especially the catering students and the fashion students. They spent a lot of money. And as it stands now, we know the difficulties that we all are facing in this country. When we accept the decision that they have brought on board to defer our courses, I have a strong belief that we will still not get that money to continue our education the next academic year.
Right, Evan, so that's the reason from the spokesperson of the 600 group. But we understand they are also making advances at protesting against the decision that management of the school has taken. What is the response of management to?
Well, so we have been speaking to the acting university relations officer for the university, Joshua Apia. And of course, even prior to that particular interview, he has given me a chronology of events, or I'm talking about a thread of notices that they have served on these students. So for instance, on 29th May, the school announced an extension of the online course registration, and that was extended to Monday, 5th June 2023. Then there was an announcement again that this time around, this notice was to announce the very processes, how the student was supposed to go through the process. So, for instance, the mention of one ROPAT, which was supposed to be the software that the student were supposed to hop on as a portal for the registration process. That was on the 11th of July, 2023. And of course, it went on to further announce an extension, from 16 July to Friday, 25th July. Then there was another extension again, this time around to Thursday, 3rd August. But some of the students could not meet the deadline. Then the school academic board or the university academic board decided to issue another notice this time around, telling all students who could not meet the deadline to defer their courses. And which, of course, not long ago, we played the voice of Adolfo saying that it will be very difficult for them to also, defer the courses again, because they are likely to pay more next academic year if they should do that. But then this is Joshua Appiah telling us the kind of opportunity that they have again to the affected students, because ordinarily they were supposed to have been withdrawn from the school. Let's listen to Joshua Appiah.
I didn't register, or students who don't owe school fees but didn't register or couldn't write the exams. Yes.
So how many students could not write the exams, which of course started today?
With the report I have is 648. I know it's less than, it could be less than that, but not as 2,000 as reported by other media houses. Yes.
What means, we want to understand, so what is the authority going to do? Are they going to have some level of going to place down some measure for them to maybe write, or they've just lost it all?
No, they've not lost it. So the university haven't been withdrawn. Per the student handbook, students who haven't registered are supposed to be withdrawn. But when the academic board met, they considered a lot of situations, how people get their money to pay. So they said they should defer. So when a defer means leave and come, but your money is intact, but you couldn't register, so you are not part of the number for this semester. So the next academic year, then you come, you register, and you continue. But their money that they paid are intact. They haven't lost their money. Yes.
Thank you very much.
So that's the response, if you like, from the management of the institution. Clearly, it seems there is an impasse between the over 600 students and the management of the university. In this role is where the Student Representative Council should come in place. What have they been saying?
Well, absolutely. So they also admit that, well, the idea of protesting on the school campus was something that wasn't, the student body or leadership wasn't privy to that particular development. Nonetheless, they were able to engage the aggrieved student. But the assurance is that they are also going to follow it through to ensure that no student is left out. But again, they also support the idea that there should be some level of a deferment. Let's listen to Kwadwo Mensah, the SRC president.
We'll get them approval.
Okay, so who is to be blamed as far as this particular development is concerned?
Oh yes, for this one, we can't blame the student and we can also blame management. I think both management and students, we all have a role to play, because management did their best. They opened the portal about 4 consecutive times, and our students also didn't pay attention to. And some students are also complaining that it's out of the economic crisis. That's why they couldn't do the registration. And other students are also didn't do it. They also didn't do it at all. So I wouldn't blame management or the student body. These are two different bodies that we all have major role to play in resolving this issue.
All right. Thank you. So finally, what is the SRC going to do now that at least there is some level of hope for them? They can only defer.
Oh yes, you see, per the University Statute and the Student Handbook, the punishment regarding to if students refuse to do the course registration is supposed to be withdrawn from the university. But due to the SLC, our plea to management, they decided to give them another chance so that they should defer their course and write it next semester or the second semester of next academic year. So I think the SLC isn't redundant on this very issue. We are also working. So I'm giving them hope that the university isn't sacking them, but
William Evanziku, I'd like to thank you so much for those updates. Stay with us here on TV3 in a subsequent bulletin to bring you details of the ongoing AMPAs, if you like, at the Kumasi Technical University there. We're still staying in the Ashanti region where family of 23-year-old at Jakobu is demanding the IGP's intervention. Now, the family of a 23-year-old are demanding a full-scale investigation to unravel circumstances that led to the death of the relative. Abu Clinton Amwating and one other person are said to have died in the custody of the police when they were arrested on Wednesday, August 9. Clearly, this is a situation the residents are not happy about, and their call for investigations also demanding that the IGP personally intervenes in this matter. Let's take a listen to some of the concerns they shared with the news team.
Okay, when I came, the police told me that they picked them. I mean, the one who was riding the motorcycle, they were three on the motorbike. So the one who was with them, the guy who was the motor rider, told me that they picked them from the roadside around the road, Afokum Patasi Road, so to the police station to search. So along the line, the guy who was riding the motorbike told me that around 5 p.m. in the evening, he was not able to find my brothers again. So what I will say is, I want an investigation to go on. I don't understand why my brother should be in the custody of the police, and along the line, my brother would die. I don't know what actually happened. So taking my brother from the police station, to a different place, and killing them, that one, I don't understand. So I want all the social medias, all the government to talk about this issue for me, and the IGP. I'm pleading on IGP to help me to solve this issue, because this issue, I don't have money. I don't have money to work on this issue. That's all I can say for now.
Very emotional there. Let's speak with Ibrahim Abubakar, who is following the story. Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, bring us the backstory to this. Where did we come from and how are we here?
Okay, Crosby. So last week on Wednesday evening, the police of at Jakobu mounted some checkpoints between Afuakwa to Fianco. According to the police, they had picked an intel that there will be a robbery operation there. So they mounted the checkpoint, making sure that everyone who used that stretch will be searched on thoroughly. So these three individuals who were on motorbike got to the checkpoint. The police decided to search them, and upon the search, they found 3 unspent cartridges in the pocket of Amwatin, and they were even asking him where he got it and where the gun is. And that was when the confrontation started. This is account of the rider because he was there. So there was back and forth, and the police decided to arrest all 3 of them, brought them to the Jakobu police station, and later in the evening, they picked 2 out of the 3 because one was an Okada driver. He was separated among the 2. He was taken to another cell, and upon some interrogation, the 2, according to the police, confessed that the gun is in the house. So they marched these 2 individuals to their home, and they were able to retrieve 3 guns and some ammunition from them. So whilst coming back to the police station, these 2 individuals, that's according to the police, attempted to escape. And unfortunately, they had to also open fire, and that led to the death of the 2. That is where the confusion is, because the family seem not to understand that since these 2 were in the custody of the police, at least even if they have been sent to a crime scene, they should be handcuffed. So they can't even escape. Even if they had attempted to escape, it wouldn't be possible for them to escape. So they do not understand how come these two individuals were shot dead. But the records the police also show that indicate that these two individuals have been engaged in a robbery incident prior to this one. Because the other one, who is called Ajiman, just in 2020 was sentenced to 15 years for robbery. But the family went on appeal, and this year he was released from the prison. And the other individual I'm watching, whose family is demanding an investigation because they are insisting that their relative is a galamsey and not an armed robber.
Okay.
And he, according to the police, has also been involved in some sort of operation. So this is nothing new in the community. And they are even telling us within the past week alone, they have reported not less than 50 robberies within the Jakobu enclave. So it is not as if they deliberately targeted these two individuals and shot them dead. But
so, Ibrahim, clearly, we're seeing two sides of this story, from the police and also from the family. For the larger residents in the Jakobu community, what are they making of this back and forth between the family and the police?
Well, when you engage the individuals, they are able to confirm that the other individual, that's Ajiman, is a known criminal because he has been convicted several times. For him, almost all the youth here are able to confirm that. But for Ajiman, that is where you get divided sides. Some are saying since he's moving with a known criminal, then he may also be a criminal. Others are also saying he's a known minor who even conducts his activities within the Trianco area. So they have never seen him engage in any criminal activity or other things. But you come here and you realize that the youth are even divided on that. But for Ajiman, the youth themselves have confirmed that he's a known criminal who has been convicted several times. So for now, you come to the police station. It is the family of Ajiman Clinton who have besieged the police station. In fact, in the morning, they said they were invited by the police to come and write their statement. They are done with the statement, but they are still hanging around, hoping that help will come from somewhere. Because for now, all that they can demand for is for an investigation to be contacted.
Ibrahim, thank you so much. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti regional correspondent. We're still staying in the Ashanti region, this time in the political arena, where former MP for Menchia North and Ashanti regional coordinator for Island Kojo Chairman Tim Collins, Owusu Mankwa, says the team is focused on winning the November 4 presidential primaries. He described August 26 Superdelegate Congress as not the appropriate forum to decide on who leads the NPP into the 2024 general elections.
It's not an appropriate forum to elect the flag bearer of our great party November 4th, which is the main, and appropriate forum of which we are devoting a lot of time to make sure that over 200,000 delegates elect Chairman as our next flag bearer. We also picked intel that the vice president wants to come back, perhaps to harvest votes in Ashanti, and I'm shocked. Maybe he has realized that his message did not sit well with delegates. That's why he wants to come back. But you come and meet us here. This is our terrain, and we control the city, and we're going to prove to them that we have the numbers. And let me put it on record that we are many and they are few. They can decide to form fan club at the top. We are many on the ground. So we are more poised, we are more resolute and more organized on the ground for victory.
To some other subjects this afternoon, and third-year teacher trainees across their colleges are due to sit for the end of semester examinations this week, despite the ongoing strike by the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana. TV3 understands the principals of the colleges have resorted to using non-teaching staff as invigilators for the exams, a development that has raised some levels of concern. Now, SETAG has been on strike demanding payment of outstanding allowances owed members. Some students have also expressed fears the current academic calendar may be affected if the needs of their teachers are not met immediately. We're engaging with Prinkov, who is responsible for the management of these teacher trainees. Let's now engage President of the Principals of the Colleges of Education, Professor Samuel Atinono. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. We understand examinations are beginning this week. Some are already beginning today for the level 300s, for the third, if you like, third semester and the semester examinations. My question to you is, does the strike ongoing by SETAG have any impact on the exams at the moment? And how exactly does your examination systems work?
And, good afternoon to all my colleagues, 46 principals, who happen to have found themselves in this situation because of the SETAG strike. Yes, usually examinations, we use the tutors to invigilate, but because they're on strike, the principal have had to find some other alternative arrangement by getting non-teaching staff and other colleagues to supervise the examination. So this morning, some have started. So far, so good. But yes, we would have wished that our tutors were the ones doing this supervision for us.
So after the exams are written, do you engage the teachers on the side to mark the papers, or it is part of their regular job description to mark these papers? How will the strike affect the exams after it is written?
Certainly, part of the role of the teaching staff is to set questions, examine them, and submit results. But because they are on strike, they clearly said that teaching and other related services. So we are still appealing to them and engaging them. And if you are aware, they are going to have a meeting this week with NLC, and we are very positive. We keep talking to them and appealing to them to suspend the strike and then assist in this while we continue to talk with government to pay their condition of services or the allowances that they are on strike for. So we are very convinced that after the exam, they'll be back, or even before.
For the broader picture, Prof, tell us, the third year semester examinations, how does it impact for the entire country in the writing of these exams and the trainees themselves?
For the third years, let me put it in context that these students have already been on campus for long. They were left with 2 weeks to actually end the semester before they start their exams today. But as you know, the arrangement of examination usually involves some time for them to do revisions. So the 2 weeks, practically, they probably would have been taught for 1 week before they go on. So for us, I think they have had a sufficient tuition and to sit for the examination. Usually, revisions are independent studies. They don't expect our tutors to be the ones guiding them to revise. So that's how it is. So we are convinced whatever they have learned up to the point where they are writing, they should be fine.
Prof, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us on the program. Professor Samuel Atinono is the president of the Principals of the Colleges of Education, speaking with us there concerning the ongoing strike by SETAG and its impact on the end of semester examinations for third years at their various colleges. Now, travelers and residents plying the main Princestown Junction to Abasi Cape 3 Points, the road in the Ahanta West municipality of the Western region, they want authorities to urgently repair the damaged bridge. The district capital, Aguna Nkwanta, and other communities are connected by this bridge, which was damaged in June of this year by some torrential rains. Parkojo Peters was in the area and has filed this report.
Vehicles and commuters had piled up at both sides of the collapsed bridge at the time of our visit. The dire situation had led to commuters alighting at one side of the bridge and carrying their wares to the other side to join another means of transport. The bridge is the only accessible route linking communities including Princestown, Cape 3 Point, Abiasi and several others. As a result, economic activities have become challenged as commodities including rubber and foodstuff have to be conveyed through this hectic process. Fares have been increased and passengers now have to board about 3 vehicles before getting to their destinations, spending at least about 30 cedis on this journey.
It's rather unfortunate because this brings additional cost to commuters between the junction into the towns or villages beyond this area.
Ras Eddie, owner of a beach resort at Cape 3 Point, says he has had to close his business.
This is the main route for my customer to access my location, so that me too I can get revenue to support my living.
Patrick Echekwesi is the president of the Western Nzemai Youth League.
Since June 20th, that this bridge got collapsed. Nothing has been done about it. Imagine there is an emergency from Cape 3 Point or Princess Town. What will we do? Our humble appeal is for the people to just fix this small bridge or culvert for us to have our road accessible, because we have investment in Cape 3 Point and all that.
In a related development, commercial drivers in Saki Gulf City, they have declared a sit-down strike over deplorable roads in the area. Commercial drivers who operate from Saki, Gulf City, Michelle Camp and Pung Barrier in the Pung Katamansi Municipal Assembly. This morning, they began the sit-down strike, leaving hundreds of passengers and workers stranded. They blocked all commercial roads within the area, demanding from the authorities to fix the bad roads within the shortest possible time. The drivers vowed to continue the strike until they see a contractor on site repairing the damaged roads. Rexmond Ntiamwa is chairman of the Pung Barrier Taxi Drivers Local Union. Ntiamwa, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon to you. How dire is the situation at the areas you're talking about?
Come again?
What I'm asking is paint a picture to us of how severe the nature of the roads and how it is affecting your work.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good afternoon. The road is affecting our work seriously because when it rains, it is difficult for you to apply the road because it's something that we have written to the assembly. So I think 3 years ago, and up to now, we are not seeing anything on the road. So we decide to... Hello?
I can hear you, Ntiamwa.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Loud and clear.
So we decide that today we'll go on sitting down strike. We started the meeting 1 month ago, and yesterday we were able to conclude the meeting with the Committee 1 chairman, the tractor station, and also Ashama, the tractor station. We hold a meeting yesterday, and we concluded yesterday that today is the D-Day that we have to pack our cars until we see our leaders doing something on the road before we can move.
Briefly, Ntiamwa, what has been the levels of assurance since you began taking this action today?
Come again?
So since you began this sit-down strike today, what have been the responses from the authorities you earlier petitioned?
Okay, up to now, we have not heard any response from our leaders.
Okay.
We have not heard any response from them. So if God willing, we are continuing tomorrow. We are still on the road.
Okay.
We are still on the road waiting for our leaders to come into our aid. So if still they do not come, then tomorrow we'll continue.
Right. Rexmond, thank you. Rexmond Ntiamwa is chairman of the Pung Barrier Taxi Drivers Local Union there. To some other subjects this afternoon, our Niger's military junta has announced plans to prosecute deposed President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason and undermining national security. This is the latest sign that the junta intends to resist international pressure to return power to Mr. Bazoum. He has been held in the basement of his palace since the military staged a coup about 3 weeks ago. Mr. Bazoum was in good spirits despite being held in difficult conditions, as doctors said after a visit. Saturday's visit was approved amid growing international demands for Mr. Bazoum's release. But in a sign that it is hardening its position, the junta said in a statement read out on state TV that he had gathered evidence to prosecute the deposed president and his local and foreign accomplices for high treason and undermining the international and external factors being at play here. Well, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, who's joining us also for some more perspectives on the back of this. Mr. Ablakwa, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, we've seen the stance that the junta has taken. The latest is that it is going to prosecute, it has intentions to prosecute the deposed president. Coming on the back of, if you like, the failed efforts by ECOWAS for dialogue, you still insist that military intervention will not be the right approach.
I must be very honest with you that a careful analysis of the situation in Niger leads to an irresistible conclusion that any hardline military intervention will only lead to a conflagration. There will be such a bloodbath that it is not clear who will be the winner at the end of the day. I don't think that there will be any winner. And the ECOWAS fixation on getting Bazoum returned to power may only, even if care is not taken, Bazoum could even be caught up in the crossfire, and he could lose his life. And that is why now you see that the junta is now putting Bazoum at the center of this whole matter. I insist that diplomacy and further constructive dialogue is the only way forward. Because you see, we have on our hands now a potential proxy war. The French are going to get involved. The Americans will get involved. Remember that they all have military bases there. Russia has also said that they will resist any attempt by the West to step in. Niger potentially could become the new Ukraine. We are going to see all kinds of proxy warfare. And don't forget that you already have in that enclave a lot of extremist groups. These violent extremists see that territory, that Sahel region.
Mr. Ablakwa, you also mentioned
the senseless murder of Gaddafi as their
you also mentioned in your tweet, Mr. Ablakwa, if you can hear me, is the advice to government not to contribute troops to the ECOWAS mission in Niger, and your reasons were that, I mean, still it was not the right thing for the country to do. What is the process that such, contributions from the country in terms of military help to other countries go through?
So, for such a sensitive matter, a major decision relating to the deployment of troops and all the financial implications, one will expect that at the minimum, such a matter will be brought before the Ghanaian parliament for a debate and a resolution. As we speak, this matter has not been brought before us in parliament. We are seeing other West African neighbors discuss this in their parliaments. The Nigerian Senate has looked at this matter. They have told President Tinubu they don't support him. In Senegal, President Sall has presented this matter before their parliament. So it is really embarrassing that for Ghana, considered as a beacon of democracy, all these countries look up to us when it comes to democratic credentials. Why is it that President Akufo-Addo refuses to bring this matter before the Ghanaian parliament for a debate and for a resolution? It is unacceptable.
Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is a ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament. We'll talk more on this in a subsequent bulletins. But in the meantime, the Gomoa Fete Traditional Council has expressed dissatisfaction with the Church of Pentecost, citing instances of disrespect towards traditional authorities in the region. Now, in a statement, the chief of the traditional area and president of the Traditional Council, Anna Abriata II, issued a 2-week ultimatum to the leadership of the Church of Pentecost, led by Apostle Eric Nyamekye, to engage with them or face the consequences of the actions. He noted that the church had consistently overlooked and neglected the traditional authority without recourse to the fact that The Pentecost Convention Center was situated on their land at Fete, which is under the jurisdiction of the traditional authority. We'll try to get some reactions on this also on the backstory with my colleagues in the central region there. But you're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby and we're back with more stories after the break. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena mi ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na mkwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo medu a me fae no ene ma won kra mienu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie e paso na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me be for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
Am I not forgetting something? Yes, obviously. Flora Mimi. Thank you. Can I use the washroom, please?
Sure. Flora disposable handkerchief.
You obviously aren't using Flora tissues, my dear, because the Flora tissues, they are soft and easy on the skin and they leave no particles. Are you okay? Do you want to use the washroom? Yes. Okay.
Hey, broke uncle. I will tell auntie.
Fachemi, I just love how it feels.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary experts are set to battle for the enviable crown of being tagged Lords of the Kitchen. This is Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye ono soko.
PGM.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Business News is up next. Benoit Fall is joining us for the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Annie.
Thank you very much, Cosby. Welcome again to the business segment with me, Benoit Fall. In our first story, an energy analyst and CEO of Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, has attributed the challenges that Tema Oil Refinery is facing to political interference in its management and operations. This follows the resignation of the MD, Jerry Hinton, over the weekend on health grounds. Dr. Sulemana has urged governments to work to ensure that the Tema Oil Refinery becomes fully operational.
The way forward is just first to get a stable leadership and stay off from unnecessary political interference. That is not good for the refinery. A refinery where we have changed managing directors, more than 5 within a space of, half a decade, and it's still counting. Tor requires a partnership. I think the major problem was why we had to restrict everything to Toronko. Even if Toronko was the perfect deal, and we knew that there were other deals on the table, the logical thing, especially because of the competing interests, would have been to bring all these deals on board. So at the end of the day, we select what would have been the best deal for the refinery. But until we stop political interference in the day-to-day run of the refinery and get a stable leadership, then we should just stop mentioning that Tor is key to our energy security. Yes, technical Tor is key to our energy security, but we haven't taken it as such. So going forward, I want to call on the duty bearers that the refinery is indeed key to Ghana's energy security. It has to secure jobs, it has to create new jobs, and the only way it can do that is to get the refinery back to business. We need a partnership. 3 partnerships are on the table: Toronko, Falcon, and then Legacy Capital. Let's get the best out of this, and let our individual interests stay off in this course.
In more stories, the Data Protection Commission has begun active enforcement of the Data Protection Act 2012, Act 843. This means businesses that have failed to register with the Commission as data controllers but are processing personal data are liable to summary conviction to a fine or a term of imprisonment. Under the radar for non-compliance include Hisense Group and Mawako Fast Food, out of many others on the compiled list for prosecution. In a statement, the Data Protection Commission said it intends to recover some millions of cedis owed the state by non-compliant authorities that have been notified of their legal obligations but have failed to act in compliance with Act 843. The Data Protection Act outlines what constitutes lawful processing, exempt processing, the scope and duties of data controllers, data processors, functions of the Data Protection Commission, and data subjects' rights. It balances the need to ensure privacy rights with the rights of the state to remain inviolable, maintain law and order, function effectively, and protect its citizens effectively. Patricia Edusei Puku is the Executive Director of the Data Protection Commission.
Recently, we put out a public notice, and before the public notice, we had notified about 250 non-compliant data controllers by letter, quoting the section 56 of our act, saying that if you are a person who is supposed to comply, you have failed to do it, you are breaching the act, you are failing non-compliant with the law. So those people that we will visit today have had the full list that I've just explained to you. They have had contact with us, and others have been brought on our radar by unsatisfied customers and Ghanaians reporting them to us. And so we must take that action and get them compliant.
Away from that, the Finance Ministry has revealed plans to issue a gross amount of 38.9 billion cedis in debt through Treasury bills for the period from July to September this year. This will be done solely through the Treasury bills following the ongoing domestic debt exchange program. Meanwhile, Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, suggests government take steps to drive down interest rates on the Treasury bills.
It was negotiating the domestic bond exchange. So it didn't have access to international markets and it didn't have to local bond, and its only recourse to borrow money was short-term, 91-day, 182-day, and 365 and little to 665-day Treasury bills. The rate rose till it peaked over 30%. And then after some concern was raised by myself and other analysts, the rate crashed. But we are seeing the same thing happen again. And the rates have steadily risen from around 19% all the way now to around 29%, 29.25 for 365-day. And the same argument is there. How can a government that is unable to pay its debts on bonds that run for multiple years at a weighted average cost of 19%, now say that it is accumulating debt, short-term debt, for 91 days, 182 days, and 365 days at rates ranging from 22% to 29%? And the first question is, are we not just going through the same behavior that caused our economy to crash in the first place?
And that's it for Business on Midday Live. My name is Minuafo. Stay with us. We have more news coming up after the break.
Ten valiant men, all poised to battle for their bragging right.
Old wine is sage, improves as time goes on. The stars have aligned for us in this moment. Our time is now. We did not come to first our shows. We came with our own. Fresh power, phenomenal strength, new and never seen before.
Who takes the title? Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch the new season of Ghana's Strongest Sunday at 4 p.m. only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
All sporting disciplines matter on Warm-Up Plus.
Warm-Up Plus, the most exciting hour on TV. So join the conversation and get updated.
Get sports news, visit exciting places, and be in the know on Warm-Up Plus. Let's go, Diana.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Catch me, Yao Ufusulabi.
And me, Aniela Alote.
Warm-Up Plus, new season coming soon on TV3.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Sports News is up next. Oroku Ampofo is joining us. Oroku, there's a lot still happening in the transfer space.
Yeah, especially with regards to Ghanaian players. Today is all about Mohamed Kudus.
Where's he going to?
So West Ham have also now inquired about him. So that's
Okay.
West Ham Brighton that we know are showing real interest in the Ghanaian.
Anyways, over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And we'll be starting off on the transfer front, where West Ham have had initial talks to sign Mohamed Kudus, who becomes the London club's priority target in case Lucas Paqueta leaves to join Manchester City this summer. So far, there have been positive talks on the players' side. However, this won't be the first time the Right to Dream graduate has been linked with a move to the Premier League. What we do know is that just this summer, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United have all inquired about the Ghanaian. with Brighton, the only side to place an official bid in excess of £30 million for Mohamed Kudus. But that's what we do know concerning the Ghanaian. There's definitely about 3-4 weeks left in the market, and it looks likely that he would not be Ajax come end of the transfer window. But let's do some more transfers, where Paris Saint-Germain have agreed a deal to sell Brazil forward Neymar to Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal for a fee understood to be around €90 million plus add-ons. The transfer is subject to the 31-year-old completing a medical and then all necessary paperwork. Neymar, who remember joined Paris Saint-Germain for a world record fee of €222 million in 2017, missed the League R opener against Lorient on Saturday. He has also been made he's been made aware that he's not part of Luis Enrique's plans for the new season, and it's also PSG's strategy of moving away from the Galacticos era of signing high-profile players for big fees and significant wages. And so we'll be bringing you more updates on Neymar and his transfers and how it definitely pans out. But what we do know is that Kylian Mbappe has returned to the Paris Saint-Germain squad, and so that's how we'll be bringing you the latest in the world of sports. You can get some more updates here on our 3 Sports handle at 3 Sports GH, but we'll be continuing to bring you all the updates that you need to know in the world of sports, as well as the latest in transfers. Entertainment is up next here on Midday.
They say your vision. Let's now join Noella Donko for some entertainment news. Over to you, Noella.
All right, let's get into some entertainment news updates here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, contestants are still proving themselves in this year's Ghana's Most Beautiful. It was another epic episode highlighting the essence of celebrations in the various regions, ranging from festivals to widowhood rites, puberty rites, naming ceremonies, and others. Here are some highlights.
That we have gathered here again this October to mark the first yam harvest and also to seek blessings from Nananum towards the year ahead. Nana,
Tagged as a night of celebration, contestants took the audience on an exciting journey to their respective regions. Posing as cultural ambassadors, all 16 fired-up contestants highlighted some traditional festivals and cultural celebrations.
The film festival, as it has begun, the chiefs and the elders would pour libation to invoke the spirits in our land to ensure it's a peaceful festival.
Olila from the OT reveals the Rara people's journey through their Kuntutintin festival, a celebration of their migration from Kuntuasi in the Ashanti region to their current home.
Therefore, let no man's actions and inactions distract the peace of the land. Husbands, do not beat your wives. Wives, respect your husband.
To Bono land, Ohima from the Bono East region entertained a vibrant audience with a reenactment of the Fofia Festival celebration. But in the end, the Northern region's Nura won big on the night. Her captivating display, expressing the role of a chief and revealing the essence of the Damba Festival celebration in the Northern region, won her the Star Performer Award.
Our land. Make merry, enjoy, celebrate. It is a Damba festival. In Yaba,
Star performer.
Congratulations.
Nura, representing the Northern region. Congratulations, Nura. She gets a package from Gino Tomato Mix. You're getting a brand new Techno Come On 20 from Techno.
Ifriye from the Eastern region and Adwanige from the Upper East region were also in the good books of the judges.
Dr. Tabitha will do the presentation. Adwanige.
Now to some more stories. Tema SHS is leading Group C with 271 points after beating off stiff competition from Infantiman Girls, Mauli SHS and Infantipim in the ongoing kitchen wars. Here are some highlights from last week's contest.
Competing schools came all out as they exhibited their culinary skills in kitchen wars for the #1 slot in Group C.
I'm expecting some good food at the end of the day.
Okay.
And much as I'm expecting good food, I'm interested in the nitty-gritties, how they prepare it, the preparation, how clean they are when they are cooking, the little things.
Okay.
Infantaman girls were up against Tema SHS, Maoli SHS, and Infantapim.
So, Chef. Chef, Ned, please help us. What's the task for today? Okay, so today we are cooking spaghetti bolognese. Okay.
After hours of cooking, it was time for the judges to have a taste and make their assessments.
I was looking for the Ghanaian flavors, the pepper, the local spices, and I could feel them in it. Well done. The spaghetti, not so soft, not so hard. Yes, so it is very good.
Okay.
That.
You like it?
Yes, I like it.
I don't know. It's a foreign cuisine, right? Yes. Yeah, but I don't know how they made it very homely. It felt like you are tasting something Ghanaian. Okay. So it's really nice.
Okay. In the end, Tema SHS came out on top with 271 points, gaining them a straight qualification to the next round of the competition.
Don't forget to keep voting for your favorite contestants in the ongoing Ghana's Most Beautiful 2023 competition. That's it for the entertainment news segment here on Media Live. My name is Noella Donko. International news is up next.
In international news this afternoon, as the death toll from the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century ticks forward and towards 100 in the Hawaiian island of Maui, there is growing anger among residents who say government's inaction has contributed to the heavy loss of life. Officials have confirmed 96 deaths and warned that the figure was likely to rise. More than 2,200 buildings were damaged or destroyed as the fire tore through Lahaina, according to official estimates. Reckoned damage estimated at $5.5 billion and leaving thousands homeless. The wildfire is the deadliest in the United States since 1918, when 453 people died in Minnesota and Wisconsin, according to the non-profit research group National Fire Protection Association. In more international news this afternoon, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky vows to completely fair and retaliation after deadly Russian shelling in the southeastern Kherson region on Sunday. Now, his comments and remarks come as officials in Moscow report multiple Ukrainian shelling and drone attacks on Russian territory. Russian missiles struck Odessa overnight, wounding at least 3 people, a Ukrainian official said early Monday. The southern port city has been relentlessly targeted by Moscow's forces. Meanwhile, Ukraine called Russia's boarding of a cargo vessel in the area, Black Sea, an act of piracy, marking the latest flare-up over the sea's shipping lane since a key grain deal collapsed last month. That's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com, if you log on for more. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, I'd like to thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.